Shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachakudash. Double honor to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Wherever you may be, wherever you may be, to say Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. Okay, as a matter of fact, I haven't gone into that in a while. Go into it real quick. All right, Satan or Satanas, or also Shaitan in the Hebrew. All right, adversary, false accuser, calumniator, slanderer. What did I say? Oh yeah, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Here it is. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. All right, Satan. Let's go into this. All right, Satanas. Adversary, one who opposes another in purpose or act, the name given to the prince of evil spirits, the inveterate adversary of the Most High and Hamashiach. All right, he incites apostasy from the Most High and to sin. Okay, circumventing men by his wiles. There's a scripture that says, speaks about the wiles of the devil. All right, the worshippers of idols are said to be under his control. By his demons, he is able to take possession of men and inflict them with diseases. By the Most High's assistance, he is overcome. That doesn't mean like the Lord is Satan, let me help you out here. No, the Lord basically gives Satan's orders, which you can read about that in the book of Job, like within the first 2 chapters. All right, because he really basically, not Job, Satan has to get permission to do certain things. Like, I mean, his job is to go through, to and fro through the earth, seeing who he can try to jack up, but he has to get permission sometimes to do certain things to certain people. Okay, like in, since it is in the book of Job, for example, Job, all right, the Lord gave Satan the go ahead. All right, he said, has thou not considered my servant Job? And he gave Satan the go ahead to deal with Job, but the one thing he could not do is take Job's life. So whatever else he wanted to do to Job, inflict him with, he was open to do so because he got permission from the Lord to do so. But he couldn't take his life. All right, because the ultimate thing was that if you let me, I bet you I can get in the curse you and forget you or whatever, and it never happened, of course. All right. Anyways, on Hamashiach's return from heaven, he will be bound with nope. Meaning I'm going to read that because it's definitely going off. But here's a very important one at the end where it says a Satan-like man, because it's talking about the Edomites, mainly the elite bankers. All right. But, I see. All right. And make sure I got that last one in there. I'm not sure because I got cut off. But the last one was a Satan-like man. All right. Dealing with these Edomites. All right. Mostly the bankers, because all the Edomites are devils, but mostly those top banker elites, because they're the ones who do the bidding of Satan on the earth. So it says you get an advantage of us. Advantage means what? It means just that, to get one over on you. All right. Let's see what it goes into. Advantage, to have the more or greater part or snare. All right. Very important right there. Oh, it says share. I couldn't see. My screen was cracked. Looks like share because there's a crack right there. I mean, it looked like snare, but yeah, it says or share. But it does say to be superior, excel, surpass. There you go. Have an advantage over, to gain or take advantage of another, to overreach, which is basically going into the same thing as what it says. But we are not ignorant, because ignorant means to not know. So if you don't know, is how he gets an advantage of you. And it says of his devices, and that is what we're going to talk about. As a matter of fact, let's get the word devices real quick. Noema. All right, a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes. All right, so yeah, his devices, and we know his ultimate device is trying to perform his enterprise, which is his New World Order, and which is having everybody under a digital system and a microchip and mass surveillance. I think that kind of sums it all up very briefly. But we're going to go ahead and play this video. Actually, only watched it once, so I forget what exactly is in it. But nonetheless, we're going to get into it today. All right, and it's only, 16 minutes long, so let's go ahead.
Hey there, welcome to Neuropod, a channel covering everything related to Elon Musk's brain-computer interface company, Neuralink. My name is Ryan Tanaka, and in this update episode, we have a ton of new developments. First, we'll start with an update on how many people in the world have a Neuralink device. Then I'll share 2 posts from Neuralink's first patient, Nolan, one of which went super viral on X.
Now, if you were, up on game with this, well, of course you're new. All right, then you probably learned about this for the first time. As a matter of fact, let me get the scripture for you. Since mentioning, someone that may be new, it might be a good thing to get, because just in case someone may be new, you never know. So for your new listeners, I'm going to get the scripture for you real quick, so that you'll better have an understanding of what we're about to explain here. But for the rest, you already know. So Revelation, the 13th chapter, since we get over there. All right, so we want to go to here. Verse 16, 17, and 18 is what's important here. So it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. Small and great doesn't matter, about your social status. Doesn't matter how much money you do or don't have. Because what they're trying to do is wipe away with the whole, middle class, and everybody's going to be in one class, and which is really, they want it to be a poor class, and then it's just going to be the elites. That's what their desire is for classes, them and everyone else. Which is why they have something known as a universal basic income that they want to implement into society. Which it sounds just like what it sounds like: universal basic income. Universal because it'll be open for everybody. Basic because the amount will be, across the board, and it's income. Okay, monthly income that's reloaded to everyone's card per month. Okay, and it's just part of his trap, his snare. So yep. Small and great, meaning, young or old, and including babies. Rich and poor, status, how much you do or don't have doesn't matter. Free or bond doesn't matter if you're in the prison systems, jail systems, or if you're out here so-called free, because we're not really free, but under this illusion that you're free. In other words, not incarcerated, we'll put it that way. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, we're not going to deal with the overall hip because it's not that particular lesson, but we will do another one soon, Lord willing, just to hit the topic again. But this time we're going to deal with the other one where it says in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, I believe that word is metapon there. I haven't read that in a while. Yeah, metapon. Let's see what it says. The space between the eyes, the forehead, nothing special there. The forehead. All right, so if you haven't ever heard this, like I said, because maybe someone's new, you have, actually several companies dealing with this. There's actually one that was mentioned, I believe it was mentioned in this video, that I haven't heard of before. And I forget the name of it, but it'll cover it as we go through the video. But the main one you'll hear about is Neuralink, of course, because you have Elon Musk dealing with that. You have the guy from Tesla. And then you have Synchron, which I don't know who really, has their hand in Synchron, but Synchron is another one. Those two will be the ones that you hear about the most when it comes to this brain technology. Okay. There's other ones like BlackRock, Neurotech, other minor ones which they're not really brain chips per se, but they're dabbling in the same realm of technology, like Alter Ego. You have something called the Orb Iris scanner. There's a lot of them. All right. So, but these Synchron and Neuralink are two that you're going to hear about the most when it talks about this brain technology, because this is the point. The point of topic, the brain hip, okay? And it says then that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Which really we only need verse 16, because we're not actually talking about the one that they want to put into people's hands or whatever, because that's the one connected to buying and selling. But the one, all right, put into your brain is actually, as a matter of fact, we can get a scripture dealing with that in 2 Thessalonians 2. All right, the one that they want to put into your brain, okay, is the one that we're dealing with. All right, in this lesson here, and there's a particular scripture I want to get, unless you know what this is, because this is all coming from the left hand side. All right, through his technology. Okay, Scriptures talk about how knowledge shall increase. Um, Scriptures speak about how Esau accomplishes a diligent search. All right, just several scriptures, of that caliber, and that's what he has done. He has, taken his money and his time because he has the means to do so, and he wants to hack the human body. All right, and that's actually, I think it was the what is the name? Yuval Harari. Okay, where he says the human body is hackable or is going to become hackable or something like that. I believe it was the other guy who I call Dr. Evil, Klaus Schwab, where he says that we're going to make a fusion of man and machine, and he's talking about what this microchip technology. All right, so and I don't want to. Okay, I'm looking right at my verse, and I didn't want to overlook it. So, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9 says, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan." Now, remember, we just read 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. All right, and there's that same word, Satanas, and that's why we pointed out here a Satan-like man, because we're talking about the Satan-like men, the people, okay, which are the Edomites, but in particular, we're talking about the so-called elites. So it's not talking about the actual spiritual demon Satan, the chief leader on the left-hand side, okay, of all the, the angels on the left, or demons, people might call them. All right, we're talking about the people who do the bidding of that left-hand side, the people on this earth. Those are the top Edomites of the planet. All right, the bankers. So it says even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. See, it doesn't say Satan. It didn't say who is Satan, who comes after Satan. Let you know it's talking about these so-called elites with all power, because it was given to their hands. The earth has been given to the hands of the wicked. All right, and I actually don't think I've ever pulled up the word power. Dynamis, strength, power, ability, inherent power, power residing in a thing by virtue of its nature, of which a person thinks, exerts, and puts forth. Powerful, oh wow, powerful performing miracles. See, that's their left hand. See what we're talking about right now. Beautiful. All right. Moral power and excellence of soul, the power and influence which belong to riches and wealth. Power and resources arising from numbers. Power consisting in or resting upon armies, forces, hosts. All right. So let's go back. So it says, with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right. If we get signs, the word there goes into a mark or token, that by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known. So these are pretty much the same, just worded differently. Of miracles and wonders by which the Most High authenticates the men sent by him, or by which men prove that the cause they are pleading is the Most High's. See, that's the right hand side. Like when Yahushua said that you would do greater things, to me, what I'm doing right now, whatever, which of course that come to pass because you just read the book of Acts, and that's what is happening. The Apostle Paul and John were going around. You had the Apostle Paul, who with the napkin, his handkerchief or whatever, was healing people. All right, and just you get the point, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the right hand, but Esau does so-called miracles from the left hand, which is basically based off his witchcraft, sorcery, and magic, like it speaks about in Isaiah. Stand down with thine enchantments, okay? Because that's what he does. He does magic. He does sorcery. He does incantations. All right. He does mantras. As a matter of fact, let's back up here so we can get lying and wonders, okay? Because the word lying goes into pseudos. See, a lie, conscious, meaning he knows that he's lying, and intentional falsehood. All right. In a broad sense, whatever is not what it seems to be. Yeah, because if you fall to this man's technology, it ain't what it's going to seem to be. Because, yeah, we can all agree, because we'd be lying otherwise if we can say, like, hey, that's neat that he's able to do this and do that. He healed, some, a blind person or whatever, so-called heal, I should say, a blind person or whatever. But see, we know the deeper understanding of what he's doing, though. Like, okay, so yeah, you did this, but we know this is all part of your, your left-handedness. All right, so this ain't no real miracle here. All right, the right hand didn't give you the power to heal, because if so, you wouldn't need sorcery and magic and all this crazy technology to do so. All right. But that's what he's doing on the left hand side. So yeah, okay, maybe he can make a person walk again who couldn't walk, people being cured or somewhat cured with ALS, and so-called giving their life back, which is all part of uh public relations. Okay, is marketing. All right, because the biggest thing with public relations is you're trying to reach the people. Okay, you're tapping into their emotions in a sense. All right, you're trying to reach the people. Okay, it's like when you have a company that sells vacuum cleaners, and they have a staff that they put together, or a team, I should say, because it's not really the staff, but the team they put together, and they send you the door. They'll send door to door, as a salesman. Okay, and they go in and say, hey, da 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 da, talk about the vacuum, this and that. Oh yeah, so you got this vacuum. Well, let me show you what this one is so great, and this is more powerful. Da, da, da. I'm gonna show you this. So it gets to people like, man, like, okay, I really do need this, and so bam, you've connected. So you have a possible buyer, or even if they just put a down payment, all right, you just possibly got your customer. Okay, so public relations are very important. That's what part of commercials are. But anyways, so we don't get too far off. All right, this is what he does though. Okay, he takes these patients, he will say work on them. This is all he's doing. He's experimenting. He works on them. And then he says that, hey, this person was a success. Let me give you their story. Okay, and that's very important too. All right. How people will always give the backstory, because that's a very high level of playing on people's emotions. Okay, I was this and this and that, and then this happened to me, this tragic accident, and then that happened, and then such and such company came along, and now I'm able to do this. So you've played on their emotions by giving the person's story. All right, and that's very easy to do because it's a true life story. um, and so that's what they're doing. They're taking these patients and showing them that, hey, we've given this person life back again. All right, so that's all part of the left-handedness. It also says a perverse empire's deceitful precepts. Yeah, he was even trying to rewrite the Bible, but the lie is the main thing I want to get from out of here. That word lying, pseudos. All right, a lie, conscious and intentional falsehood. Okay, and the wonders or terrors, or it is, all right, miracle performed by anyone. See, and these are what? Pseudo miracles, lying miracles, false miracles. Because if these were real miracles, like on the right hand, okay, like Yahushua, we'll use him for example. What else better example could you get? When he healed, I'm trying to think of the worst issue he might have healed. I mean, I guess it would be up to, debate, because it's what they clearing out a demon, or clearing out the issue, or giving this person, legs back, or, so you can, decide what would be the best, but it doesn't really matter. The point I'm trying to get to is, once your house shall heal somebody, they were just that. They were whole in every perfect, in every, proper way. Whenever they needed cured, it was cured completely. Okay, Esau can't do that. He may be able to make a person who was paralyzed walk again. All right, but that person will still need assistance. They might still need like the walking. I really don't know what to call the walking sticks. I'm not talking about the canes or whatever. Like they'll strap it to the arms. Okay, or they'll need some kind of something to help them. All right, so it's not like, it's not a real miracle, because if he was really making a real miracle, the person would just be healed. Like, oh snap. It's like they'd be a regular, normal person all over again. So that's a pseudo miracle. You could tell that's left-handed versus what the right hand would do. Because if I'm gonna say, no, not me. If a person was paralyzed and the right hand side healed them, they're no longer paralyzed. That's the end of the story. If the same person is paralyzed and the left hand so-called heals them, they might be able to walk, but it's not going to be a perfect stride like someone who's, has a regular walk, who has the regular back and, bones all adjusted, and they're fine. Okay. They're going to have still complications and troubles and, things of that nature. So you kind of get the point I'm getting to there. All right. So there you go. All right. The all power in signs and lying wonders. All right. And our people are going to be part of, the 2/3 of our people are going to actually believe these things. So I'm going to read on. It says, and with all deceivableness, there you go. That's the word, the big word right there, deceivableness of unrighteousness, because it's all coming from their left-hand side, in them that perish, because That's their lot that they fell into. All right, because everything is ordained from the beginning, because they received. All right, but it's giving you the rhyme and reason when he's dealing with the Israelites. This is particular the 2/3 here, because they receive not the love of the truth. That's going out right now. From the apostles and on down, right from the prophets, right. So it says that they might be saved. So they didn't believe the truth, so they're not going to be saved, because that was the lot of the 2/3. Okay, because the Lord is only looking for the remnant. Yeah, I get 11. And for this cause, the highest shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. You see, there you go. Give you over so that you believe the lie. Because ultimately the Lord wants to destroy them anyways. Because he only wants the remnant. All right. Yeah, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. That's twice. But had pleasure in unrighteousness. See? So if we jump back over here to our video and get into it. All right, and listen some more. Let me pull it back up real quick. Hopefully we can get right back to it. From the spot we left. No, we didn't. All right, so let me see if I can find it. Let me just start right here.
Neuralink device. Then I'll share 2 posts from Neuralink's first patient, Nolan, one of which went super viral on X. Then David McMullen, who has previously worked at DARPA, the NIH, and as director at the FDA, is joining Neuralink as head of medical affairs. Then we have this picture showing an update on the building of Neuralink's facilities in the greater Austin, Texas area. Then Neuralink patient Jake shared that he is working with the team to develop a 10-finger typing program, with which he's able to type at 41 words per minute. I'll show a clip of this presentation from Neuralink President DJ Suh showing the earliest days of the company. Then we'll shine a spotlight on some of the latest actual patient stories before rounding it out with a post from Elon and a note about a Neuralink competitor. First up, Neuralink has implanted their devices in 20 humans, reaching their ambitious goal as shared by DJ this past summer. Our goal is at least 20 before the end of 2025. One of the newest patients, John Noble, a veteran paratrooper and Neuralink user P18, or GB5 in the UK group, shared his experience on X, saying, "On Thursday, 11 December 2025 in London, I had the Neuralink N1 brain-computer interface implanted in my motor cortex. After 12 hours in recovery, I was discharged home on Friday, 12 December 2025. With 10,000 plus people on the waiting list in America alone, I feel incredibly grateful and privileged."
10,000 people on the waiting list, but you don't hear about it, as openly as you think something like that would be. All right, because the thing is with what Esau is doing, it's a trial and error thing. All right, and that's why, because actually, if you go into Neuralink, they were actually experimenting on the monkeys or whatever, the apes or whatever they were using. Got them playing Pong and stuff like that with the brains and stuff. And like I was saying, all those runs weren't successful. And even though they weren't successful with the animal testing, they actually got the go ahead from was it the CDC? I can't remember who gave them that the go ahead, but somebody had ended up giving them the go ahead so they can start human testing without perfecting the inner animals. They went ahead with the human testing. Not that was any better. They were testing on animals anyways, but you get the point though. Okay, it went from animals to human without actually knowing the full scope of what they were dealing with. Okay, so it was a real risky trial and everything. But in order to really get it right, to fix their mistakes, they have to have a human, because what they're making is technology based on human brains. All right, what they need is a human brain to experiment on. So they had to go ahead and get the go ahead for human brains. Let me go in and be able to drill into a human skull. So then if something is in error, we can find out what's in error, and figure out the code and, match it up and then we could, fix it better because we actually have a human brain to work with. All right. So that's where they're at right now. They've been for a while now.
My surgeons championed my candidacy, and I know this is going to change my life, as well as my wife's and my family's. I'm so blessed to play a small part in helping the incredible Neuralink team pioneer this life-changing technology. Very inspiring. And with this rapid pace, Neuralink is proving their ambitions to make these devices accessible to as many people as possible, as fast as possible, while still making sure things are safe. This brings Neuralink's trials to sites across the US, Canada, UK, and soon the UAE. Doesn't it feel like just yesterday we were talking about Nolan being the one and only person with a Neuralink? And now we're seeing a rapidly growing group of users interacting with this technology daily. If you're enjoying this update episode and want to stay ahead of the curve on Neuralink, please hit that subscribe or follow button. It really helps the channel grow. Next, let's talk about Nolan Arba, Neuralink's first patient who's been sharing some powerful updates. One of his recent posts went mega viral on X, racking up over 33 million views. He says, "There was a time when I stayed up all night and slept all day because there wasn't anything worth waking up for. No plans, no goals, no purpose. Then I got my Neuralink implant and everything shifted. I started going to bed early. I woke up excited for the day ahead. And just like that, I had found purpose again. Since then, I'm back in school, I've launched a business, I'm traveling, I'm speaking on global stages. Neuralink didn't just change what I can do, it changed what I believe I'm capable of. It gave me hope, it gave me purpose, and for the first time in a long time, I'm excited for what's next."
And and that just sounds like an Edomite for you. Before that, I'm pretty sure God never reached his lips, right? But it says, "Oh, Neuralink gave me purpose and it gave me hope," and But that's an Edomite because the Edomite doesn't believe in the Most High. What's that? We always bring out Job 21, where it says, "What we desire not the knowledge of thy ways, and what profit will we have if we serve you," or something like that. All right.
Nolan's story really highlights how Neuralink is restoring not just function, but a sense of drive, hope, and independence. He followed up with another exciting post about the potential for a dual implant. I can't overstate how fired...
You heard that right. He's now, because remember, he's the first patient of this now 20. Okay, I mean, as far as we know, might be plus now, but at least 20 patients Neuralink is implanted now, and he's talking about he wants a second one, and that's what we're reading about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, his lying signs and wonders, and we read in Revelation 13:16. All right, the mark in their forehead. Okay, so he now is saying that he's excited to actually get a second one. And now we don't know if he'll get it or not, but I'm pretty sure that they probably will allow that just to what? Have more data to experiment with.
A dual implant. I can't overstate how fired up I am about the Neuralink dual implant. One in the brain, one below the injury, finally working together. The potential is unreal. Yeah, I'm amped. For many of you who have listened for years, this concept is certainly nothing new, but nevertheless, it remains one of the most clear reasons to be excited about Neuralink. If you want more info on how these dual implants will help paralyzed people walk again, click this video link in the top right corner of the screen. Are you using AI to ask health questions in the middle of the night? Are you getting generic answers?
And I think we're going to fast forward. I believe this is just some marketing or whatever. We'll just get past that. Yeah, I think that was it right there.
No credit card required. Next, Neuralink announced that David McMullen is joining the team as head of medical affairs later this month. David has an impressive background. He's worked at DARPA, the NIH, and most recently as director of the Office of Neurological and Physical Medicine Devices at the FDA. This regulatory experience should help the team continue to navigate the complex path towards approval of a commercial product. David said this role combines
that right?
Of a commercial product. The complex path towards approval of a commercial product.
So he's going to help navigate the complex path of basically trying to get an approval of
product. David's
what he just said here.
Approval of a commercial product.
Of a commercial product. See? Getting it more open to the public.
David said this role combines scientific rigor, direct patient impact, and the chance to move the entire field of BCI forward. My highest calling has always been to get safe and effective devices to the people who need them most.
And BCI stands for brain computer interface, all right, in case you didn't know what that meant.
Neuralink is one of the very few places where that mission feels not just possible, but urgent. This is a big deal as Neuralink expands trials internationally and gears up for Blindsight, their vision restoring product.
Now, yeah, two things here. One, notice how he's talking about Neuralink is one of the very few places where that mission feels not just possible, but urgent. All right. Of course, this is urgent. All right. All of Esau's missions are urgent right now. Okay. Was that Revelation 12? All right. He knows he has a short amount of time. All right. So his rulership is the general overall thing. So everything that falls under that, whether it be war, it be his CHIPs and whatever else he's doing, he has a short time, man. Okay. So carrying on with these devices is urgent, all right? Just as urgent as anything else that they're doing, okay? Man, what was the second thing that he just mentioned there? Slipped my mind. See if I can run it back.
As Neuralink expands trials internationally and gears up for Blindsight, their vision restoring.
There you go. So trials internationally, and then Blindsight. I'm not sure if you heard of that, but I mean, you can always look into that because I don't think they go into Blindsight here. I mean, it can always be another lesson though.
Product. David's regulatory experience will help them navigate approvals and ensure safety as they scale. Then next we have a picture showing one of Neuralink's facilities in the greater Austin, Texas area, courtesy of S.E. Robinson on X. Neuralink's company footprint is expanding significantly, as I shared in the last update with the 144,000 square foot expansion in South San Francisco.
Vault number is 144,000 square foot expansion, right? Hey, you can't make that up. Now, I'm not saying it meant anything. It was random, but yeah, come on now.
And continuous building out in Austin. They need space for animal care, manufacturing, testing, R&D, and their own clinic, and so much more. This expansion also lines up with the increasing patient count and ambitious long-term aspirations to get to tens of thousands of implants, and eventually more than 1 billion humans implanted. Neuralink patient Jake Schneider is working with the engineering team to pioneer a 10-finger typing program. Jake has ALS and has lost most of his arm and hand mobility, but this is what Neuralink posted earlier this month. Jake could only type with one finger after ALS took away most of his arm and hand mobility. With Neuralink, he's exploring how to type by imagining moving all 10 of his fingers again. This was what Jake had to say.
Before, I was fumbling the mouse around, pushing it around with two hands, one finger typing. Now I'm helping Neuralink develop a program called 10-finger typing. If you imagine that looking at this keyboard, what I do there is I calibrate through loads of data to imagine these different motions and movements to attempt to type these keys. Before, I would voice dictate a lot of things, but that gets difficult if, other people are in the room and it starts picking up on things. And then, so this is clearly going to pick up what I'm intending to type. And in the trials that we've been doing it, as we've been testing it, I've been able to move at a speed of 141 words a minute. So it can keep up, very well. I'm in the process of using this to help me write a book about my experience and my journey. ALS hits you like a pound of bricks, but having this opportunity, for my generation, is the equivalent to being one of the first ones on the moon. I owed it.
And real quick, like we mentioned with Synchron as well, they've targeted ALS, and it's probably because it's a symptom that really works well with what they're trying to achieve with their device. Other than that, I really don't know why, but ALS pops up, and not only is dealing with Synchron, which I believe is mainly centered around Synchron when it comes to ALS, but with Neuralink, ALS also they deal with that over there, and whatever else comes along. So yeah, because it's all about their technology and showing and proving that it works, getting feedback. If anything's wrong, see what the feedback is so we can fix that. And whatever's right, what can we do to perfect it? Okay. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Having an actual human patient is what gives them that proper data and research that they need, all right, to move forward in these projects.
To myself, I owed it to my son to take a chance, and now he thinks I'm a superhero with a computer chip in his head, and this has been like a gift from God.
What you say? A gift from God? What God is that? Esau's your God, man. All right, that's the left hand. Okay, because the Most High ain't gonna give you brain, computer based modules and all this kind of stuff like that. All right. If the Lord wanted you whole, you'd be whole. If the Lord wants you sick, He's gonna make you sick, man. If He wants you banged up, He's gonna make you banged up. All right. If you are whole, He can mess you up, okay, and have you alive. And now you're banged up, okay. So, but once again, we get it though. All right. These people, we can't say exactly, but more than likely, none of these people are Israelites, and if they are, then we pretty much know the outcome, because once you dabble in this technology, you're out of there. Okay, once you've taken it, there's no coming back from this. But more than likely, we'll say 9 times out of 10, these people are probably not Israelites anyways. Okay, but like I said, we could be wrong. Doesn't really matter. That's not the point anyways. But let's keep going.
I just want to clarify, Jake misspoke. It's 41 words per minute, which is still much better than many able-bodied typists. And this is the earliest stages of this program. So not only is Neuralink giving patients digital freedom with control of a computer mouse and an on-screen keyboard, but now also a full keyboard, basically in their mind. They'll also be starting speech restoration trials in the US very soon. Neuralink's president, DJ, gave a presentation at UT Austin and other schools, recapping the company's earliest days and sharing some of the progress being made today. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about the founding story of the company. So for that, we're going to take a time machine back to 2016. This is just to kind of contextualize the world at that time. No ChatGPT, pre-transformer, and self-driving was barely working. And Elon had this tweet about Neuralink back in 2016, and then started tapping into experts working in this field to potentially start a...
I didn't read that before. Top left under 2016, it says creating a neural lace is the thing that really matters for humanity to achieve symbiosis with machines. I want to get the word symbiosis now. Of course, I kind of know what it means, but I want to get it anyways. All right, with the 9:31 mark, just in case they try to knock us off. I'm gonna have to drop this. That way we'll be able to come back up. As a matter of fact, let's get this AI mode real quick, and we'll type in the word symbiosis. All right, describes any close or long-term interaction between two different biological species. Now, in this case, we're not talking about two, regular biological species. We're talking about the human people, and then we're talking about Esau's technology. So there's really no point to even read more, because they're coming from, the area of living entities. Okay, derived from the Greek word for living together. It encompasses a spectrum of relationships that vary based on whether the organisms benefit, are harmed, or remain unaffected. Okay. And so that's what they're trying to see right now. All right. So yeah, so there's not really even need to read any more to that. But oh, beautiful. But we mentioned that earlier. Dr. Evil. All right. We're going to make a fusion of man and machine. Symbiosis is just another word similar to the word fusion. All right. So, hey, you get it. Yeah, we're trying to achieve, it says, creating a neural lace is the thing that really matters for humanity to achieve symbiosis with machines. There you go, fusion with machines. Okay, and the ultimate fusion with machines is the hand device they want to put into you. Okay, or the hand C-hip, I should say, that they want to put into you. I mean, I guess you could have still said the device.
The company. And at the time, I was doing my PhD, working on this thing called Neural Dust, and met Elon in October of 2016. And then a few months later, we had a company with a few other people, to build the world's first mass manufactured high bandwidth BCI. And I really like showing that photo on the.
And pretty much what it sounds like what happened there is Elon Musk probably saw he was a pretty smart guy. He had something going, and he scooped him up, all right, to make use of him.
Lower right corner, that's what the office looked like. My first day at work was going to, I think, Office Max or something to buy a chair. So we really started out with nothing, bunch of ideas, and then he also shared this update on the improvement in speed they've been able to make with the insertion of the electrode threads. The clip on the left is our current version of the robot that's been used for 13 humans with Neuralink. And by the time this is inserting one thread, the version on the right, which is this new robot that we call Rev 10, has inserted it more than 10 times. So why is speed important? We want to keep the surgery time super, super short.
Did he say, wasn't that Rev 9 or something like that from the Terminator movie? I might just be thinking, hold on, but that name sounds familiar though. I almost want to look it up because it said the Rev 10, wasn't the Rev 9 and the one with where the Iscarite chick was supposed to be the main one now, and the original Sarah Connor lady was supposed to be old. And then you had the half, I don't know what the heck that chick was supposed to be, came protected her. And then of course you had Arnie come back as the original Terminator. Y'all know the movie I'm talking about, all right? Where we have the new liquidated looking guy where he can separate his body. Is that the Rev 9 they call it? I might be thinking about another movie. You could check it out. I might look it up myself later just to ease my mind on that thought there.
As at the moment, the end-to-end, we call parking lot to parking lot, is 4 to 5 hours for the surgery, and the robot portion of it is about an hour, just over an hour. And our long-term vision is to make this kind of like a LASIK surgery, and potentially you can get it during a lunch break, so you need to do this under 1 hour. Maybe you can do it awake. And there's huge amount of challenges and benefit of having it be a shorter surgery. And then there's also, at the moment, we send a bunch of our engineers to go out to the surgery and look at every move that it makes. We don't want that. We want to make sure that it becomes kind of a one-click surgery, super reliable, boring surgery. We like boring surgeries. Pretty incredible that they've been able to achieve a 10x improvement, and now we know the name of the newest.
And real quick, when he says boring surgeries, he's really talking about going to simplifying everything. All right, simplifying it.
Robot Rev 10. First, Alex Conley shared this awesome video of him using the implant to control an RC plane. I used the Neuralink to write code for an Arduino to allow me to control an RC airplane with a quad stick. The possibilities are truly endless. Thank you, Elon, and the entire team at Neuralink. I'm honored to be part of such a great program. Even though it crashes at the end, it's a fun demo of how he's able to write code and thus control physical devices just because he has a Neuralink. Then Rob Greiner, another patient with quadriplegia, posted a video playing a first-person shooter game with Neuralink and a quad stick simultaneously.
With Neuralink, they have now made it so with my thoughts, I can aim with thinking. So that's all my thought right there. And with the quad stick, I'm just moving. So I'm able to aim and move at the same time now. As a quadriplegic, you can't move anything. So almost think about it like if I'm playing a computer game, my right hand is on an imaginary mouse, and my mouth is on the keypads. So with one fluid motion, we can now play first-person shooters and other games a little more efficiently.
And then we have this montage from XFreeze showing Neuralink's first 5 patients playing Mario Kart together, all playing just with their minds. these stories remind me of the real impact Neuralink is having. Elon shared this post on X in response to a longer post from Talon. I won't read the whole original post, but essentially he's saying the time it takes for AI to deliver what you want is shrinking rapidly, and that any complex computation is a cakewalk. Elon responds, "That's just the beginning. With Neuralink augmentation, I hope we can at least understand far more about what digital superintelligence thinks about." This hits at the core of two main things. Number one, that AI will not just help us memorize things or retrieve things or compute things. It will actually develop new knowledge, or at least new to us simple humans. And two, user interfaces are evolving. We've gone from the mouse to the click wheel to a touch interface. Now we use touch and voice, but soon enough we'll be using our brain interface. Now, I generated this image with AI based on this original reference image. If you didn't realize before I told you, you're not alone. AI tools for image and video generation. Elon shared this post on X in response to a longer post from Talon. I won't read the whole original post, but essentially he's saying the time it takes for AI to deliver what you want is shrinking rapidly, and that any complex computation is a cakewalk. Elon responds, "That's just the beginning. With Neuralink augmentation, I hope we can at least understand far more about what digital superintelligence thinks about." This hits at the core of two main things. Number one, that AI will not just help us memorize things or retrieve things or compute things. It will actually develop new knowledge, or at least new to us simple humans. And two, user interfaces are evolving. We've gone from the mouse to the click wheel to a touch interface. Now we use touch and voice, but soon enough we'll be using our brain interface. Now, I generated this image with AI based on this original reference image. If you didn't realize before I told you, you're not alone. AI tools for image and video generation have become incredibly good, and they're only getting better. For about a year, I've been spending 7 days a week using AI tools, and now I'm starting an online community for folks to learn simple tasks that can be made easier with AI. The goal here is to help mostly experienced professionals who have a lot of industry knowledge but may only use ChatGPT for simple tasks like writing emails. I want to show how any mundane tasks can be easily automated and show off some of the remarkable things that folks can create with AI. The community is currently free, but I'm thinking I'll make it a paid community in the future, so join by clicking the link in the description. Neuralink's competitor Paradromics got their first FDA approval. This is Paradromics CEO Matt Engel's post on LinkedIn. Paradromics has received FDA IDE approval to begin its first clinical trial with the Connexus brain-computer interface.
Now, this is what I was mentioning, Paradromics. I can't remember ever hearing about this company until I watched this video. And obviously it's not a very big company, but I mean, nonetheless, you heard what he just said there.
This is Paradromics CEO Matt Engel's post on LinkedIn. Paradromics has received FDA IDE approval to begin its first clinical trial with the
See, it received FDA, Food and Drug Administration, of all things, to be toying around with a brain. See, hip, you get, anyways.
Connexus brain-computer interface. The trial, named Connect One Study, will evaluate the long-term use of the fully implantable BCI for safely restoring speech and enabling computer control for individuals with severe motor impairment. They'll recruit from UC Davis, Mass General, and University of Michigan. And remember, Neuralink is always hiring. Check out neuralink.com/careers for new openings. Thank you for watching, and thank you.
All right, so yeah, that's the end of that right there. It actually went quicker than the first time I watched it. I actually had another video. It's about 10 minutes long, but I'm not going to pull it up. Yeah, but so yeah, there you have it. Just an update, on a little video out here I saw about Neuralink. Okay, and this pretty much is see it. All right, because this is what they're working at. All right, this is one of the main things, not Tesla and all that kind of stuff, which is trying to work on that stuff too, but robots and all that kind of stuff. But this is his main project, these brain C-hips, okay, and creating these things. And as I said before, there's actually a whole lot of companies, but the main ones you're going to hear about is Neuralink, Synchron, and that Paradromics was one I had never heard of. But they're probably not major. I may look into them, maybe not. I'm not sure. But we pretty much get the point of the lesson out there, which I like doing. These are some of my favorite sessions to do these AI chats, right? Because there's always a lot of different things to talk about when it comes to AI, whether it be the C-hips, or robots, or different things that they're you get the point, right? So there's no need to force it. I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord willing, you will edify to that. So, Shalom.